Give us just 1 minute, please. Perfect. Hey, Brian, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, Sherry?
I'm doing well, thank you. Hey, Kiero, how are you?
Hey guys, give me 1 second.
Go right ahead.
He's in the shower.
I'll tell you what, while he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and give him the proper introduction.
Sounds
Uh,
great. Great.
Thank you. First of all, welcome Zach and Mimi. Appreciate you listening, and those that will listen at a later date. Appreciate you. Our guest tonight was born in Fontana, California, and graduated with a bachelor's degree of visual communications. And our guest interned at X 103.9 FM in San Bernardino. And then he honed his DJ skills by touring with Young Thug, Little Yachty, Billie Eilish, and Triple Red, to name a few. Our guest has been a podcast host, a home game commentator, which led to him becoming a content creator for Eric Pearson, and most recently becoming a creative director for Bally Live Poker. Please welcome to our space Chiroglyphics. We're going to give him a minute to catch up.
Hey guys, my bad. I'm at like the Honda dealership. They were fixing my car, and I left about 10 minutes ago, and it ends up they didn't fix my car, so I'm in the middle of their auto shop. So I'm walking back to the waiting room where it's not loud.
No problem.
But
What are we doing?
real life, man, real life.
That's right. Life gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it?
I was like, I had it timed down. I thought it was fixed right before it was Twitter space, and I got on the freeway, and they're like, nope. Car was like, no, I'm not fixed at all.
No worries.
Yeah, they're fixing it. All right, how are you guys doing?
We're doing good, thanks. I'm so happy you joined us because you know I'm one of your biggest fans.
I'm one of your biggest fans too, Sherry.
I appreciate that. Let's get right into it. Why don't you tell us how you got started in poker?
Right. When I was younger, as a kid, I loved watching poker. After dark, all the late night television poker, and was always a fan of it. And I would play the game on my phone or on the computer, but I never played for cash. And throughout my DJ career, as you were talking about, I had DJed in casinos and places where they had poker, and was always intrigued but never played. And then after COVID happened, I went from DJing to podcasting full time, and that ran its course after podcasting 5 days a week. And one day, just left the podcast, and I was like, what's left on my bucket list of things I've never done? And I was like, I always wanted to play poker. And I had just recently started playing online tournaments on my Twitch streams back about 2 years ago, in February of, what are we in, 2024? So 2022.
Right?
I played my first ever online tournament on ACR, and then so about in May of 2022, after, I think it was just maybe the next day after I left the podcast, I went and played at my friend's dad's home game, which was a 5-10 game, not knowing that I was walking into deeper waters than I probably should start off
That's
with.
a big game, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Didn't know that. That's how naive I was. And I bought in for $400. And long story short is I won that game.
Nice.
Um,
Oh,
I turned 400 into about like $3,200, which was a lot of money for me.
Of course.
Being that I had just quit the job at the podcast, and I had paid all my bills after leaving there. So I think I had $1,200 left to my name, and I took a third of that to go play poker, which was I don't recommend to anybody.
A true DJ.
But yeah, I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's go for it, and it ended up working out. Um, Thankfully, it did, and I just kept pressing it, and played that home game a few more times, and then I went and played at the Commerce at some smaller stakes, and it kind of just snowballed into me figuring out how to take my media skills from podcasting and radio into the poker world. And I found a very small home game stream that was a 2-3 stream, um, and they needed a commentator. I went and started commentating, and I had a natural knack for it coming from the media side. And after I think 6 months of doing that home game, I left that to work at Live at the Bike. I had an audition there, and it went well. And yeah, I went from commentating a $2, $3 game to a 500, 1,000 game with a $2,000 straddle with Eric Person.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Absolutely.
quite the jump.
Now, I'm just going to interrupt you for a minute because I want you to tell us how Octo Crab became your favorite poker hand.
Right. So within that first little 6 months of me playing poker, I played at a few different home games, and I played at a buddy's home game, and I'd say this is still under 20 sessions lifetime. Like so this is probably within like a little bit past my first 10 sessions, but before my 20th session. And I'm playing in a home game. One guy ends up betting big on the river, and the other guy folds, and he flips over his cards and yells "Octo Crab," and everybody at the table loses their shit. And then a couple of hands later, some guy raised a lot pre-flop, and everybody folded, and he looked around, and everyone was like, "Oh no!" And he flipped over his cards and yelled "Octo Crab," and I was like, "Oh, this is a thing." And I think like a couple minutes later, maybe like a half an hour later, I bet 3 streets of value with Octo Crab when I was bluffing. But nobody would dare think that I would do it. So when they were pushing the pot my way, I held onto my cards, and everyone was like, "No, no!" Like, so there's no way. And I flipped over my cards and I yelled "Octo Crab," and the room went crazy, and I was so hooked. I was so fucking hooked on that fucking feeling.
Oh.
And I honestly, every time I play poker, that's the feeling I want, is the unexpected to happen. And the name was catchy, the hand was bad, nobody else treated it with respect. It felt like the hand that encompassed me. You know what I mean? Like, it just,
That's hilarious.
it got the people going. And, so I didn't invent the hand, but
Right.
I definitely adopted the Mr. Octo Crab. I don't think there's somebody else who advocates for that hand more than me.
I find it amusing for sure. And it's all about any 2 cards, right?
Yeah, but winning with those 2 cards is special.
Well, I equate that to like pocket deuces, right? When you sneak in there with pocket deuces and take it down, that's a great feeling. And so Octo Crab, I imagine, is the same feeling, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tell us about working with Eric. I know that you started out with creating some content for him, and now you're going to run his. You're the creative director for Bally Live. So tell us about that relationship, would you please?
Yeah. It's funny. My girlfriend, she's in here. She reminded me of the story. Was one day I was watching Hustler and live stream, and I said something in super chat, and Nick Vertucci was commentating, and he didn't.
Uh-oh. My guess is his phone
I
rang.
showed up I showed up the next day to Hustler with a vengeance and with something to prove, and I ended up interviewing Nick, which then led to me reaching out to Eric to interview him, and I basically sent him a DM and said, "Hey, can I interview you?" And it was right before the Mr. Dr. Batman hand, and I made an edit of that hand with our interview, and I sent that to him. And then he called me the next day and offered me a job.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Eric's been in the business for a long time, and, he recognized your talent very easily and quickly. And I'm glad he did, because now you're on to bigger and better things. Um, Software, I don't want to hog up the mic. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I wanted to say something, then kind of a question along with that. Um, one of the things I really appreciate about you, Cairo, is just your positivity in the spaces, and I think so often it's like kind of turns negative, and everybody always looking for the bad guy or whatever. And I just every time I listen, you're super positive person. Can you talk a little bit about that, like your philosophy and that?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
Yeah, like just your general philosophy of like, you know, I don't know, more so like you just seem like it so much different than the average person, and in terms of like social media, like I've posted things before, right, and that are not at all like controversial or whatever, and people are like ready to jump down your throat, but like you seem different than that. Like you seem like much more positive, and I think you just bring this positive vibe to the community. I was just wondering, like, if you can talk a little bit about that. You're just like,
No, I appreciate that. You know, life's hard, dude. One of the things I figured out about myself when I was trying to figure out what's my purpose in life, very early on, was I have an ability to just bring joy and be a bright light to others. And I kind of just doubled down on that. Like, if I was gonna just narrow down on like what am I good for? Like, what is my use of being here and with other people? Is if I can bring a good mood to other people, or bring any sense of just happiness to other people, then I feel fulfilled. So that's kind of where the whole Cairo loves you branding came from. And my tagline, if nobody loves you, Cairo loves you, because a lot of people deal with a lot of shit, and not enough people get provided positive energy from other places. So I figured if I was going to pick one thing that I could do um, wholeheartedly, was to just at least try to bring people good energy and hope for the best. There's enough negative stuff out there that anybody could turn any direction and find negative, but it's really hard to find like genuine positivity.
I love that. Absolutely love that. And you're right. There are some people in the world that don't have anybody to give them that positivity and that love. And sometimes just those few spoken words fill that void for somebody. It's so important.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Doing one kind thing for one person can snowball into a bunch of other good things happening.
For sure. Go ahead, software.
what's your plans for summer as far as the World Series? Play more cash, sort of thing.
Software, you're
In the Matrix.
yeah, you're in the matrix, bud. Your sound is horrible. But he asked you what your plans are for the summer, like around the WSOP, Cairo.
I'm going to be covering WSOP with Poker Org, and I'm going to have some other stuff going on. But yeah, that's uh, that's the plan as of right now. But everything's subject to change because I'm not really sure if I'm going to be filming. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good day. All right, I got my car back. Sorry, guys. I was trying to do two
It's
things at once.
okay. No
So
worries, bud.
they couldn't fix my car. They didn't have the part available after
Ugh,
being here for 3.5 hours. So that's a
so
bummer,
frustrating.
but it's okay. We're in a positive place now. So
All right, now tell
um
us. Go ahead,
yeah.
finish.
So no, I was just saying, yeah. WSOP. I don't plan on playing the tournaments. I plan on playing cash games while I'm out there. As far as poker,
Give him a minute to switch to his phone and his car. You there, bud?
Yeah, no, I did switch to my car. You were right.
No worries.
I thought it would stay on my
No
AirPod.
worries.
Oh my god, life. Um,
It is okay.
yeah. So filming vlogs, filming with content creators, filming episodes with Bally's, and filming content with Poker.org. Um, I'm not sure if I'm going to be just doing like tournament reporting or interviews. We haven't really broken that down yet, but I know I'm on schedule to be there.
Awesome. I just need to do a little housekeeping, you guys, and bring up our sponsor, Elevator Results. If you need to gain weight or lose weight, Elevator Results can help you either way. So get in contact with our sponsors, Elevator Results. Thank you. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, sorry about that. So what? So you play more cash these days, or you're really just focused on the content stuff, reporting and that stuff?
Um,
What first plan?
I play cash primarily. I usually try to play 2 to 3 sessions a week. Um, but with everything that's been going on this week, necessarily with Bally's and stuff, I haven't been able to play. But when I do travel, to film content or anything, I always make it my goal to squeeze in cash games. I love playing tournaments. It's just not my main focus or thing that I study when it comes to poker.
Tell us about the commerce gig. What's going on? What do you guys pack coming up? And give us any spoilers.
We have our soft opening Sunday. Um, the lineup has been changing quite
Okay.
frequently. Those higher, super high stakes games tend to be like that because one moving part will always change everything. So this Sunday we do launch at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time,
Awesome.
and um, we have a couple more games Wednesday and Thursday, and I will be launching my episodes with Bally's. It's going to be like a Kairos content creator and friends game. Um, Maybe looking at April. Um,
Awesome.
we were going to launch that this month, but with everything being the way it is, just trying to get our bearings right. I'd rather the show's bearings kind of get dialed in before I try launching my stuff. But that we'll see like a regular cast of friends of the people you see me on other streams with
Right.
on like Hustler or Lodge or etc. Like so, Casino King, the
Right.
On Tilt Boys, Corey Iring, Sethy Poker, Poker Face Ash, Caitlin Komeski, Nikki Limo. So smaller stakes, but a wildly entertaining group of people.
I love it. And you want it done right. So, taking a little more time if it's going to come out a better product is never a bad idea, right? So,
Yeah,
kudos.
definitely, and I think these higher stakes episodes really make or break the show. So it's much better for me to put my energy and my and the team's energy into those first than to push mine. But I'm really excited. As you guys heard, like I started playing poker really seriously like 2 years ago, and to be in this position with this momentum, like I'm very grateful and I'm very excited. It feels like a creative rebirth for me in life to be now in my early 30s and feel like I'm still in my youth of like starting over with something that I love so much. So
Well, and good things happen to good people, and you've been working hard, and congratulations on these successes. And I know I'm not the only one that's proud of you in this room and in this poker world. Tell me, how are you feeling about the setup they're putting together, Commerce, for you, the technical side of it?
right. So I think the space for the table, the poker table, is much more open than compared to other shows. they're going for like an arena type feel.
Oh, okay.
So there's supposed to be the possibility of seating, so there could be live viewership
Oh, I
in
love that.
the room, but that's something that's to be developed. So I think that's something as like the show grows, we'll see how that works out. Um, I originally came in as a commentator, so I might not always be commentating, but there'll be shows that I'm commentating,
Right.
and so from that standpoint, usually at all streams, like the commentary booth is like much secluded away from where the stream happens. But for this room, there's like actually going to be a commentary room with like a glass wall to see the table.
Nice.
So you're you're going to be on a delay as a commentator, but you're also going to still feel like you're a part of the action in a sense, where you can actually still see the room and feel the energy. So I think when I do get to step into the commentator's booth, it's going to definitely change the dynamic of calling the action. But um, when you do those 5 hour streams, the last 2 hours are kind of like they're really heavy because you've been isolated for so long by
Right.
yourself.
Right.
So to feel like you're still a part of the room is, I think it's going to be really important for the energy as a commentator to give.
I'm going to tell you, I got invited to do a 12-hour live broadcast. They wanted to do like set a record, so to speak. And by the time I think I got to maybe Donna was listening, I think by the time I got to like hour 9 or 10, I was so slap happy stupid that people were asking me if I was drunk. I was getting text messages, "What are you drinking or smoking?" And I'm like, "I'm sober. I'm sober. I promise." But it's a long period of time. It's hard to imagine, filling that space. But when you have to do it, it's crazy. It really
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah, no, and so I commend you for making it to hour 9. Um, you know, I'm like, I think people like they watch 5 hour streams, but they don't understand the ability to like look away or leave the room or take a break, and like how important that is. But when you have to go hand for hand and still stay paying attention to the chat room and the game itself to
Right.
call the action, you don't really understand what it does to your brain.
It
Uh, yeah,
takes a lot out of you because you're trying to keep up with like you said, the chat, the table, the big hands, any drama that's going on. And of course we decided we were going to send text messages to the table telling them to knock your neighbor's chips over, or say this saying. I can't even remember what the hell we were telling them to say, but we were telling them like to say Shazam or something. And of course, when they would say it, everybody at the table was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, what do you mean Shazam?" I mean,
yeah.
we were off the rails. But anyway, Donna, Uptown Greg, will bring you up in a minute, bud. Donna, did you have anything you'd like to add, hun?
Hey, Kiero,
Hey, Donna.
what's your top 3 things in poker that you've done so far? And
My top
who's
3
the
favorite things in poker.
yeah, and the favorite people that you've met over the time that you've been in poker?
Sherry, Donna, and Brian. I mean,
Like,
that's playing to the audience, right? That's
yeah,
okay. Okay.
love you.
Outside of this immediate spaces, obviously, I'm gonna always say Eric Person because he's changed my career and my outlook on working with people in higher places. I've worked with a lot of people in higher places throughout my lifetime, and when I worked in radio or DJing or whatever, and no one has ever treated me with more respect than Eric. And I really mean that. All puns intended. He's a really good person. Um, so him first. Number 2, definitely going to be Casino King. Um, and just like in life, it's nice to have somebody who has the same motivations and aspirations as you, and to work alongside with. So that's somebody who's become a very close friend to me. And, just having somebody to talk to that can relate to what I'm working on and what he's working on. We push each other to reach our biggest goals in life with poker. So I'm very appreciative of having him in my circle. And for number three, if I wasn't picking a player and if I wasn't picking a friend, I would say that, man, there's actually a lot of people I could say, but um, I have a friend named Paul that I play games with now, and he's not known to anybody, but I really appreciate that guy, and playing with him is really fun. So I figure right now would be a good time to give him his flowers.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, he's like an unknown, like nobody knows him, but like,
That's awesome.
to me
Hey,
he's important.
right. And that's all that matters in your circle,
Yeah.
quite honestly. Donna, did you have any follow up, hon?
No, just to say thank you so much for your kindness when we
Oh
came
yeah.
over to see you. It
Yeah,
was
that was
really
a special treat to
beautifying, weren't you?
yeah, it was a very special treat to have you guys come visit me.
It was awesome. We were so excited, and you treated us like queens, and we're only princesses, and we appreciate you for that for sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now I like to do something called rapid fire. Are you familiar with what rapid fire is?
I have done it to many people in interviews, and it's exciting to have it happen here. So let's go.
Yay! Awesome. Live poker or online poker?
Live poker. If I didn't want to socialize, I'd play online.
Whiskey or wine?
Whiskey, because old fashions make me feel distinguished.
Love it. Gummies or blunts?
Uh, Gummies, but I mean, obviously, I used to be very big in the cannabis industry, and I mean, for a majority of my life, to be honest, I'm actually cold turkey these days. I don't smoke anymore.
Oh, good for you. I mean, not
Y-
that it's just your choice, and if that's your choice, good for you.
It's just
Pete,
like just my bad to cut the rapid fire short,
no,
but
it's okay, honey.
just like in high school and college, I realized I couldn't do math stoned. I could go to any other class stoned. With poker, I can't play poker stoned. I can't do math. I can't make critical thinking. So once
Good
poker took over my lifestyle, like weed just found its way out.
good for you for recognizing that, because there are many people that I sit at poker tables that have not figured that out yet. And my stack loves it, but at the same token, you sit there and you're like, dude, what day are you going to recognize that you really can't play poker that high? But anyway, to each their own, right?
Right.
Pizza or burgers?
Burgers,
Boxers or briefs?
boxers,
Beach or mountains?
beach. Mountains have bears, and bears scare me.
Thank you for playing along. I appreciate you
Hell
humoring
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could go to the beach and not get in the water. If you go in the mountains, you're in a bear's house.
100%. I'm with you on both accounts. Okay,
Yeah.
this week you got yourself in the middle of a story that has kind of taken Twitter by, whirlwind again. And it seems to happen about every 6 months. And I just wanted to ask you, I'm referring to the Maurice Hawkins story. And just the truth to be told, I have been around him taking his photo, and I have seen his table presence in person, up close and personal. I've never played against him, but I've been around him enough to know what his gig is when he's sitting at the table, so to speak. But I'm wondering now, now that you've heard Randy's rebuttals, so to speak, in the spaces last night, what have you formed an opinion? Are you going to ask for proof from Maurice now? Tell me where you're at with that story.
You know, I try to be as neutral on topics as possible so I could be unbiased until the whole story is finished. just because I feel like that's what's fair in life. And I heard Maurice's statements in our interview, which some made sense, some didn't make sense. And I have seen Randy's post, which some make sense and some leave questions to be desired. So I'm going to be following up with Randy on Monday, I believe, for an interview. We were going to do one today, but it just didn't work out. And honestly, when I heard Randy talk in the spaces yesterday, he seemed very well spoken and like direct, and he came off very authentic to me. Um, where on the flip side is, Maurice made a lot of claims and he did seem to be a little bit all over the place. So it was hard for me to to take everything in and be like, this is my opinion straight out. So I look forward to seeing this develop. And both people have claims of proof and receipts, and both people's claims kind of counter each other's. So I'm excited to talk to Randy. And as far as the response from the community, I feel like it was good to get Maurice on camera to talk, period, versus it just being an unspoken topic
Right.
and everybody just speculate.
And I agree with
Um,
you. And I'm all about hearing both sides of the story. Trust me, I always have been my whole life. My thing that, just keeps ringing back in my own brain about the whole situation is, his claims that he owes nobody any money. And yet we have a court order that says you do. And so maybe if he would lead out with, I don't owe anybody money except this person, then maybe some of the other stuff he was saying, I could, tend to believe it more, I guess my point is. Because when you lead with that, I don't owe anybody money, yet I have a court order against me stating otherwise, I can't, like, how am I going to put the truth in your mouth? I can't at that point.
no, exactly. And, for me as an interviewer, my stance is usually to not be the prosecution or the defense. So I did face some criticisms for not pushing back on certain things, but I felt like in that moment it wasn't my place to um, dictate anything besides having him share his perception and opinion, and not try to interject
Well,
mine.
and I totally agree
So
with you. And I think that you giving him the leeway to just say whatever he felt he needed to get off his chest, I think was a perfect way. And yeah, maybe there could have been some other questions, but you know what? It led into the bigger conversation, which I think was your ultimate goal. And I'm not trying to
exactly.
put words in your mouth, but I'm just looking at it from afar. I feel like that was your ultimate goal, was to get that conversation started and bring it to a bigger picture and involve all sides from that point forward. And mission accomplished, right? And now you're going to get Randy's side. And if you give Maurice another chance to rebuttal, so be it. If not, so be it. But I think you've done a great job. And I look forward to hearing more of the facts.
Same. I look forward to hearing the facts, and I also, Randy asked to get on an interview with Maurice at the same time, which I think would ultimately like satisfy the public and maybe resolve their issues at the same time. Which is the overall goal for me, was to maybe this whatever I ask can lead to a resolution, and not leave everything open ended.
Right.
So
And it's,
um,
when they seem to have been good friends and good business partners up until they split up, so to speak, right? And so if they could find the middle ground, and Maurice has to man up and take care of business, right? And whatever that is. And if that can happen through them having an interview together, so be it. God bless.
yeah, and Maurice made some very strong claims about uh, Randy trying to like strong arm him, was the words that Maurice used. And I feel like whether I believe that or not, it's not my place to discredit
Right.
it. But in the same sense where it's not my place to discredit Randy, regardless if he has a court order or not. There could have been conversations or agreements that none of us are privy to unless we were shown otherwise. So whether or not, I feel like Randy and Maurice have the opportunity to provide, and Randy has been providing plenty of evidence, but it leaves a lot up to desire to know more, because some things were left out until he was asked about them. Like, he said he received no money from Maurice, but then it turns out he received some money from Maurice. So it's like, okay, like what does that mean? And there was an agreement to a buyout, but then there was a disagreement which led to the buyout not happening. So where does that leave that?
Right.
Randy could say one thing, but then Maurice could pop up with a screenshot of him agreeing to something that Randy didn't share with us. So I never discredit what may or may not happen or what has happened. I just want to wait till all the facts and the truth is completely out there, and then I would have the ability to form an opinion.
Totally agree.
Um,
Totally agree.
yeah,
And
my main goal is just hopefully this all comes to a resolution.
right, whatever that is. And it's unfortunate because it's just another, sock in the eye of poker. And
I mean, I've always liked Maurice. I thought, I'd known him for a long time, or known of him, and then we played a hand together where, I got like 10 bigs or something, and he raises the button, and I jam, and he wins the he wins the flip while berating me, which I just loved, honestly. Like a lot of other people, like he gets under people's skin, but I just laugh because I get the whole shtick of it, and I think that, as I said, that some people have replied to my comment thinking I'm an idiot. I think he's at at the heart. I think he's a good guy. I think that this somehow got out of line.
and let's
If
let's
if
face
we
it,
are,
it's really a shame the fact that he has what 16 rings or 15 circuit rings, and
yeah,
that's being overshadowed by these topics of he owes people money. Because honestly, we should
Definitely.
just be celebrating what a great poker player he is. And
yeah,
granted, it's a world he created, but at the same token, at what point do you recognize that and say, hey, let me get this taken care of so this is no longer an issue and they will just celebrate my success at the poker table.
Yeah, and I think that would be me and Chad Holloway talked about that this morning. Like, people would love to celebrate him for his wins if it wasn't for this subject. And if these things weren't carrying over him, um, he obviously would be celebrated. But I think he also chooses to play the villain role,
yeah,
by choice. And um, I don't necessarily think he cares about being celebrated, um, which is unfortunate because I think for most of us in that position, we would want to be celebrated for our promise on the table. But
yeah,
I don't know. I kind of
if
felt like he alluded in your interview of him that people are not focusing on the fact that he is successful on the felt. And I kind of feel like he would like that to be a focus. And maybe as, for lack of a better way to describe it, as he matures, then he'll come to the realization that, I do want that celebration and I don't mind being the bad guy, but not the bad guy because I owe people money.
Right, yeah, I think on the table, like table talk wise, or playing mind games, as long as you're not overtly like obscene or rude, um, like you know what I mean. Like it's a skill set. Phil Ivey said that one time. As long as you're not like going overboard, if you're doing things to put your player opponent on tilt or doing things purposely to just have an edge, then that's part of the game. But if you're like trying to damage people's fucking mental state purposely, or fucking say racist things, or say things that are just clearly like crossing the line, then that's just not called for.
Right. And
Um,
listen, I love good table talk. I'm going to tell you, I talk shit at the table myself. But, when it crosses that line, I had, there have been times that it's crossed the line and I've said, okay, guys, that's a little too far, but, good table talk is great for the game. It keeps it, keeps you on your toes and it's not boring anymore. Right. So, um, I love
Right.
good table talk. S. Williams, I'm bringing you up, and I'm sorry that I missed Uptown Greg. Go ahead, S. Williams. William, whenever you're ready, S.
Sorry, I was on my headset and it was acting up. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, I just wanted to say, I don't think anyone disputes Maurice Hawkins' poker ability and his gift of gab. I think he's a great player. However, like the dude's just a scumbag. I mean, this isn't the first dude he's done this to. I mean, I've heard rumblings about this guy for years. I didn't even know. Like, I saw a tweet, Cairo, that said that some contractor had interviewed him. Someone was ragging on poker.org for not asking particular questions. But you didn't get access to any of those documents, any of those filings, those judgments, or anything like that.
So yeah, no, like basically the timeline of everything was, I saw Tiffany Michelle's conversation with him for Poker.org after he cashed, and then I watched the Only Friends podcast where they said we didn't ask these specific questions. So I asked those specific questions, and when he brought up the court case, um, and the litigation that was he faced in the Randy situation, I was a little bit unsure if that was sufficient or not. So there was a little bit of a freeze up on my part because I didn't know if it was even necessary at that point, since he acknowledged it, for me to press harder on that issue, because I didn't really necessarily have a stance on it. I was aware of it. But when I blatantly asked him, I was like, do you owe anybody in poker money over any staking or backing deals? And he's saying no. And then he brings up the court case at the same time and starts talking about dollar amounts. Um, I kind of just left it as that so we could continue the conversation. Um, in hindsight, it might have been appropriate to maybe outline the information I knew about directly about the amounts and stuff from that court case. But I didn't end up doing that in the moment.
Do you think his take, and I didn't see the whole thing, is his take that he doesn't owe the money to the court case because he doesn't like how that was handled, or he doesn't acknowledge that it exists? Like, what's his,
From what
or
I
we
from
don't?
what I heard in the interview is just that he acknowledged the 20K and said that there's still a 20K. And then when I listened to Randy yesterday talk about that there was a possible buyout, but that Maurice didn't pay the buyout, so the original amount is still owed. It kind of makes a little bit of few things confusing on my end. But what I do know about court cases and the litigation is that if it says he owes that money, he owes that money. So I'm not privy to any information or conversations that him and Randy have had since that court case, and I don't think any of us are, except for them two. So I guess we have to just see what comes out.
Yeah, I just want to interject here quickly, if you guys don't mind. Jay Farber posted a tweet today that was really relevant. He's like, "This dude has owned Maurice has owed that guy money for years, over 6 figures." So he's like, "Yeah, it's reasonable to get this fucking guy out of your life for 20% of what you owe." Same thing a credit card company does, right? Like, if you owe money for an elongated period of time, they're going to give you a settlement agreement. If you don't pay that settlement agreement, they're going to place a judgment against you and you're going to owe the total amount plus interest. It's the same thing here. Same exact thing.
Yeah, and there was like penalties that Randy outlined that were supposed to be have had, and then he actually shared the percentages from cashes that he would owe, and then there was an issue about Maurice getting a free seat in a satellite into something. So those things just complicate things, but I guess we will definitely see more information hopefully come out, and yeah, I hope all this gets resolved.
All right, Kyra, I'm going to send you some questions and you can use them or not. But anyway, Uptown Greg, I'm sorry I've kept you waiting. What you got, bud? Welcome.
Hey everybody, it's Uptown Greg. Um, I wanna fuck. I don't know what to say now. Shit.
What happened?
Listen.
I love you, Greg.
No, I love you too, Sherry. Actually, all right. I'm just gonna come clean. Cairo, I've never spoken with you before, but I was bashing you on the other space just now because I wasn't a fan of how you handled the interview. And I was coming back and forth, and then I came in here, and then Sherry was asking you like who your influences are and all this stuff. I was like, Jesus Christ, what the hell is this crap? And then I come back, and then Sherry's asking well thought, tough questions in a very gentle way, a non-confrontational way, and I was like, oh, okay, Sherry's a genius. You know what I mean? You don't start off, aggressive. You fucking, whatever. So I appreciate that, Sherry. And then listening to your and Cairo, back to you, listening to your answers in here, I respect the fact that you're taking constructive I don't know if it's criticism or whatever, but you seem very thoughtful about the way you handled it. So I appreciate that. But I don't know. At first I just thought you were a fucking grifter.
Okay, I'm going to say something before Cairo does.
And I'm sorry I don't mean to be a judgmental
No, it's
prick,
okay.
but I just can't help it sometimes.
It's okay, Greg. Everybody has the right to their opinion. And I'm just going to say to you that Cairo is a hard-working guy in the world of poker. And now I'm going to let him speak on his own behalf. Go ahead, Cairo.
Yeah, no, Sherry said it good. Everybody's entitled to their perception or their opinion. And it's just like, if you hear me out or talk to me, then, you're allowed to change your stances or double down regardless, as long as you feel comfortable in sharing that, it's all good.
Well, hey,
Fuck you, Cairo. You overcharged Snoop on the fucking laptop.
I overcharged Stoop on the laptop.
I'm kidding, bro. I'm totally kidding.
Oh,
Yeah.
I gave him a deal actually.
Hey, can I just say one more thing?
You can.
I just want to let you know, man, like I'm in the Gulf Coast and Maurice Hawkins has been a staple in here since I can remember. And like these rumors and accusations have been going on for well over 10 years. I know several people that share the same backer as him. And like, I don't know, I believe it. I think he's a scumbag. I've also played with him several times. And like you could call it gamesmanship, you could call it whatever, but sometimes he's just a real fucking asshole. Like he's just not a cool guy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that I think poker world needs a lot more personalities like we did during the poker boom, like the Sammy Farhas and all that shit. But this guy is just not it. I mean, he's definitely a character, but he's also a piece of shit. And like, the more clout he gets, that just leaves him available to more new victims. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. And Cairo, I apologize. I mean, you didn't hear me talk shit about you, but I just wanted to let you know that
It's fine.
that I was. But like after listening to you talk with Sherry, I think you're an all right guy. And I just hope that you interview that one guy that got scummed on him by him. And then if you are to have the backer and Maurice at the same time, please be good at mediating, because I could see Maurice getting hella defensive and talking over and all this shit. Make sure that like when one person speaks, the other person's on mute and vice versa. But anyways, yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you for letting me speak, Sherry.
Thank you for waiting.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
I have a question for Greg.
Sure, what's up?
If he's still, oh, you're still here. Okay, I just want to make sure before you leave. So, like, what in your book is a grifter?
Like I've watched people come in and out of poker, and like they're either trying to like either get clout or get enough clout in order to make money in a disingenuous way from poker. And that's what I feel a grifter is. I don't know if we share the same
I'm just going to stop you for a minute, Greg. I'm just going to stop you, and you know me well enough to know that what I say to you is coming from my heart. And that
But I'm
is,
not.
no,
But
listen for just a minute, love. Just listen for 1 minute.
okay, I just wasn't finished, but that's cool.
What you were describing is absolutely no way who Cairo is. Cairo is not that. And I challenge you to, when this is over, go back and listen to the beginning of the interview so that you can hear what he's done in the poker world to get him to where he is today. So I'm just going to give you that little bit of a challenge, love.
No, Sherry. I actually agree with you. I don't know if I articulated it what I said well enough, but I was saying that listening to you interview him, I realized that he wasn't a grifter. I was just saying
Awesome.
I didn't give him the grace because I'm just assuming whenever I see a new face pop up in poker and they're on streams and they're all over Twitter and all this shit, I always just feel like, man, this motherfucker's a grifter. I'm not. That's all I'm saying. And I wasn't accused.
Thank
Well,
you.
actually, I was accusing him of being a grifter. But like after just listening to him speak, I don't think he is. So that's why I even came here and I apologized to him for
I
saying
love
stuff
that,
about.
Greg.
Yeah.
I love that, Greg. Cairo, anything else, bud, as far as Greg's concerned?
No, that's really dope that he apologized and that things got cleared up. I was just curious to like what that meant. That's all. Just because I don't want to assume what it meant.
Wait. What do you think a grifter is? Or
Actually, I didn't know. So
okay, I got you. Oh, so you just asked me.
just me over. Yeah, just asking. I was like, all right, well, I got accused of being something and I still didn't understand what it meant. So I just wanted to, and you apologized. So I was like, all right, well, before I even figured out what it meant, like you apologized. So at the end of the day, I was just curious.
Yeah, you're good. All right. Well, it was great talking with you. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine, dude. Trust me. I'm glad that we had the talk.
I love it. Thank you, Greg. You know you're always welcome, bud.
Thank you.
You're welcome. ASG, join the speaker panel.
So yeah, so I don't like. I mean, like I've seen you like on some streams. You do some commentating. Do the content creation thing. So like, what's your like goal? Like, do you have like a type of like? Is there a person you could say, "Oh, I want to be like this guy in a couple of years"? Or yeah.
I don't know anybody else like me. You know what I mean? Like at least from where I come from or what I've done or like what I do. Anybody that I aspire to have the similar work ethic of is Eric Person. So
Oh no, I meant like in terms of like career oriented. Like,
Yeah,
what are
like
you
I
trying to like? What lane are you trying to go in? I guess is like.
just mine. You know what I mean? Like I like doing the media stuff. I like playing. I do enjoy conversing with the community and the public. I'm a public figure in the sense of like I host games, I play on games, I'm behind the scenes organizing stuff and editing, a bunch of stuff. So I don't really know anybody who does all of that stuff. But I guess like you said, career wise, like I guess end goal, exit goal, it would be owning a casino and operating my own stuff. So that's why I always say Eric Person.
I love that. Go ahead, S. William.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I was going to just add to that question that I think ASU was trying to get across, but I think Kyra answered it well. I think Doug Polk does all those things, though, Kyra.
Yeah, you know what? Especially with him operating a card room, and Doug's been really kind to me since I've met him, and we talk periodically. And even we had a discussion after I played on the lodge recently, um, and he does great stuff in the media space, for with his YouTube and stuff as a content creator, and but I don't think we make the same type of content, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, but I'm just saying, like, Doug used to be a complete douche, in my opinion, but I've grown to like him. I think he's matured. There's nothing that guy has touched that he hasn't been successful at, which is extremely impressive for me. Like, poker, exceptional. Poker site, exceptional. Running the lodge, blew it up. Except, like, everything he touches, he just does. Like, he's just an incredible businessman, I think.
he's such a hard
Yeah,
worker.
and definitely in the beginning, like I never agreed with his opinions, and like I kind of like as I got more involved in poker, I kind of like grew to appreciate what he does, and kind of just realize like how hard it is to do what he does.
Same, bro.
And
Same.
I always thought like I was like, well, I don't agree with Doug Polk's opinions, but I guess I'm a fan of him because I consume all of his content habitually. And this was about like 2 years ago. And then after like getting to meet him and stuff and like talk in person and I like really just kind of like had different lens on my perception of who he is and what he does for poker.
He's such a hardworking guy. Before I move on to Donna, ASG, were you done, bud? Did you have any other comments or questions?
Yeah, just what's the origin of the octo crab? Is it just one off from Seven Deuce, or what's the deal with that?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier. You just missed it, but it was basically my friends at a home game introduced me to it when they were bluffing, and then I tried it out, and I got like a really sick bluff through, and I tabled the hand and yelled octo crab like everyone else, and the whole room went crazy, and it was a very infectious fucking feeling and fun. It made poker way more fun than I thought it could have been, and now it's just like when I play, I'm always chasing that feeling of fun.
Okay, now, Donna, forgive me for one more second. Tell us about why you like to play so many hands blindly, because I do it as well, just when I'm in the mood to have some extra fun and make things a little extra crazy. So, why do you enjoy playing hands blind?
I mean, it's unexpected, and when you wake up to it, they never see it coming, and it kind of puts the people I play against in a position of like, is this guy really just trying to like get one by on me, or does he really have it? And I think that's what poker is in a nutshell. It's like that decision making factor. Um, to be honest with you, most of the time I do it on stream is strictly to put on a show. But when I do it off stream all the time as well, and even when I'm not vlogging my hands, and it's mainly because the idea of sitting at a table for an hour being card dead makes me miserable, and I just refuse to be card dead. So,
That's
um,
exactly when I normally start doing that crap. Is I'm so bored out of my mind. I'm like, okay, I'm losing by looking at my cards. Let me see if I can win by not looking at my cards.
and then
I mean,
when it happens, you're just like, shut up. Like this is no way.
I
Like
once did it 6 hands in a row. I won 6 hands in a row doing it.
it's the
I thought the
best.
people at the table were going to lose their minds. And one guy, the sixth hand, finally said to them, "Why do you guys keep calling her? She's winning. Like, how stupid are you?"
And
It was the best.
the best blind plays that I do are when I just like keep betting and everybody like no like I'll like when the cards get pitched out, cover my cards and like point it out. I was like, all right, this card's covered, and the second card comes like this card's covered. Like I'm not looking at these cards. I like
Exactly what I do.
I draw attention to myself to make sure everybody notices that I didn't look at my
Yep.
cards, and then I'll just keep betting. Like I'll just
I
keep
do the same thing, bet every street, and they look at you like you're.
Yeah, I am crazy. And then like when like I have some videos that I haven't posted yet where it's like, all right, everybody folds, and it's like, all right, everybody, let's find out together what I had. And sometimes I like everybody will fold and they'll be like, oh my God, I flopped two pair. Like that's crazy.
I
Or
love it.
sometimes I'll have complete air and it's like, all right. And by the time I start looking at my cards and playing, people are already it's like a mental thing. People are starting to call me off super light because they're just like, I'm not gonna let this guy just keep doing this stuff. So
100%.
it's a
I
very
love it.
profitable and a very costly play. It depends on how
Yes.
the cards work.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And I'm going to tell you, I'll never stop doing that because it's just fun. It makes poker fun at the table. Yes, I win doing it. And yes, I've lost doing it. And you know what? I'll keep doing it because it's just good old fashioned fun. Donna, go ahead, love. Sorry to keep you waiting.
It's all right. Kiero, all I will say to you is, remember, take some downtime for you and don't overstretch yourself because I know how tired and frustrated. Well, it weren't frustration, it was just sheer exhaustion on your part when we actually met you and everything that you were doing
Yeah,
and the hours that you were working. Remember, you've got to take some downtime for you and sleep.
Yeah,
Because otherwise you're not going to be 100% yourself.
yeah,
Give everything 100%.
definitely. Like this week, I took time off from playing, to balance things out, to be able to just relax and let my body charge up before things get busier for me. And me and my lady went out to dinner the last couple nights, and just try to appreciate and be grateful for everything I have. And getting rest is something to be appreciative of and grateful for too when you can get it. So I'll definitely do my best to not burn myself out. But I'm very motivated to keep working, and I have big aspirations that I want to achieve. So
Well,
we're
and
gonna
the
we're, we're
fruits.
we're
Go
gonna
ahead.
try to
I know,
balance it out.
I know that. And you know I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to be on your ass. You should know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I appreciate that, Donna. Thank you.
All right, my darling.
And you're realizing all the fruits of that labor, and it's awesome to see it happening, Cairo. S. Williams, you have any other questions or comments, bud?
Oh, thanks for coming back to me, Sherry. No, I'm good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Donna, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well over there on the other side of the pond.
Brian?
Yeah, I'm good, Sherry.
All right. Cairo, we typically try to keep our interviews to about an hour or so. And I think
Our
we've,
areas? Did you just come up with a new thing?
I'm
I'm
sorry.
just kidding. You said our areas.
Oh, um,
Our spaces.
our
Just trying
spaces, sorry. Um,
to. Sorry.
anyway, so I appreciate you being on with us, and we will look forward to these follow up interviews on the Maurice Hawkins subject topic here in the poker world. And I look forward to seeing you this summer, if not before, Cairo. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, thank you for shedding the light on me in a positive manner. I really needed it.
Well, anytime, bud. You're always welcome. You know that.
Yeah.
We love having you, and I appreciate everyone that's listened in, and those that are going to hear our recording. Appreciate you too. So have a great weekend, everyone, and good luck on the felt.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone.
Ah, AS.
Later, Cairo. Peace. Nice talking to you, bro.
Thank you, S. Williams. Thank you, everybody.
See you soon, Cairo. Much love.
Much love.